Okay, guys, look at this one. What are the components or architectures of a backup system? Here it is. Simple. A standalone backup type. So, what is this standalone backup? Like you have a laptop or maybe a desktop. The pictures are there, no? Yeah. You have a laptop or a desktop, and you have a external hard disk. You have a some external hard disk. You use some tool. So you use some tools like you know. So what we can say, maybe default Windows backup tool. Default Windows backup tool is also there. Go to control panel. There you can find backup restart. If you go here and take a backup of your system, okay, so set up a backup like that. You take a backup and store into your external hard disk. Okay, you store into external hard disk, or maybe you can use some tools like EasyUS, like this EasyUS data recovery backup partition manager, like that. So many other backup tools also there. Okay, the Paragon backup and recovery, F backup, Google Drive, or Cobin backup, like that. There's a lot of backup tools also available. You can go to, so there is a 32 backup tools. Okay, we'll see. It is easy US to do backup. AOMEI backup first. Okay, Cobin backup, NTFS backup, NTFS backup, file fort backup, backup maker, drive image XML. Okay, so you can say Redo Rescue, Yedis backup, mini tools, shadow maker. Okay, like this, there is so many type of system based. A shampoo backup, Graph backup, SD backup, like Odin backup. Okay, clones la backup. Like different tools, you can use it and you can take a backup. So like this, you have a laptop or a desktop, you have a system, and you connect it to a external hard disk or a CD-ROM or a DVD, like that. Okay, so we connected a storage device and using a default tools, or you can use a certain softwares. So then you put it the backup into your backup device. So what is the advantage of that one? You regularly take a backup and you can schedule the backup also. And another thing is there in your Windows, which is introduced in Windows 8, that is called a file history. So this is also a one kind of backup related kind of stuff only. Okay, file history. You want to go file history. This is file history. So what is a file history? It save a copy of your files so that you can get them back if there are lost or a damage. So file history will save your data into any external hard disk or a OneDrive, or can be network drive. So what data it will store? Your profile data, libraries, desktop, contacts, favorites. So it will store into your remote location. Okay. So like that, or maybe you can use a softwares like EasyUS, Partition Magic. Like there is a lot of softwares are there. SanDisk, SanDisk. We have a pen drive type. So SanDisk manager tools also there. If you buy that pen drive or external hard disk, Western Digital, Western Digital related. If you buy, so you will get that kind of stuff also. Okay, so this is, so just a backup architecture. Standalone backup architecture means you have a data and you have a backup drive. You put the data into that one either by using direct system tools or maybe a softwares. That is a backup standalone backup architecture. Next one is two-tier backup architecture. Two-tier backup architecture means you have a mm, server, means you have a system and you have a backup devices using a backup server. You manage the backup kind of stuff. And another one is a three-tier backup, like enterprise backup architecture, that dedicated storage nodes kind of stuff. Okay, nothing is there. I will explain this two-tier, three-tier, why it is so many I kind of stuff. Guys, simple. Try to understand. You have a PC on your personal PC, and you have some external hard disk, and you connect the device and you put your data backup into this device. So this is called a standalone architecture. But think about it, in a company, in organizations, it is very difficult to take a individual PC's backup or a individual server's backup also. It is very difficult, right? So what did they will do? So I have a computers in my PC. Okay, I have a lot of computers or maybe a servers. Okay, or maybe a servers are there. So they're all connected through network only. All are connected to through network only. So everything is connected to network. So I am no need to go to each and every PC to take a backup. I have a backup server. It is a server only, just a server, and I have a storage bay to store the data. Okay, these are also connected to the network. This is also connected to network. Think like that. Okay, this is my backup server. This is my storage space. So each PC have some name, right? PC name or some a specific identification like a MAC address. Okay, okay. Each PC having some name or IP address or a MAC address. Like that, we can identify them. So what is this backup server will do? It install a agents back the software. Backup server means it contains a backup related software. Backup server means it is a machine which contains backup server software. The software's agents, it is also a software, is a piece of small application. Okay, a client application. Agent means client side application. Agent means client side application. These agents are installed into these machines. Okay, these agents are installed in these machines. Now, what it will do? The backup server get backup like a backup server. In the backup server, I will tell. So today at evening 9 o'clock or Monday morning 8 o'clock, like that, I can schedule a backup. I will tell when to take a backup, what to take a backup. Like that, I will do all the things here only. So what happened? That information send to agents. That information send to agents. Now these agents timely respond and send a backup to server. What happened? So I schedule a backup. I will tell so what to take a backup, when to take a backup, all the information, configurations. I do it in a server only. That information sent to these agents. Okay. So the agents, based on that information, will take the backup in the respect to machines and forward the data to the storage. That is also informational. So take a backup, store the data into the centralized storage, like a NAS or SAN kind of storage is there, store in this centralized storage, and that information available in our server only. Okay, again, just like yesterday. So what I said, in my storage means in my centralized storage, all PCs data is stored with a separate folder or separate sessions are there. So all PCs data store in one place only. Okay, with a separation. Now, if something like a P4 is down, the P4 hard disk is damaged. Now the immediately we remove the hard disk and reinsert the new hard disk. Now we have to restore it. Now you can restore it from server to client directly. So no confusion because of the software which is we are using, which is like a P4. This is the last backup. This is the previous backup. This is another previous backup, like that. Entire list of the backup store information we will get it, and the storage location will get it. You want to restore it? Click restore. Automatically restore the data into your physical machine. So this is your two-tier or a three-tier architecture type. So complete management of using backup server or a backup server softwares. Guys, understand difference between standalone and two-tier or three-tier architecture. So forget about what is two-tier, three-tier kind of stuff. Do you understand backup server and two-tier or a three-tier architecture? So if you clearly see the external thing, so backup catalog, backup manager. So this is the device. The central one is the device. It is a backup server, backup storage nodes, and this is devices means where the data stores. So using backup agent. So it is taking data. So backup manager and take the backup and put the backup into central location. Same goes here also, but it is backup manager and backup storage nodes are separated here. Okay, both are almost same, only it is dedicated storage nodes are there. That's it. Yeah, if you don't get it also, no problem. But standalone means single PC, take a backup, store in a external hard disk. But in enterprises, we use this kind of architecture because we use a backup server, storage place, take the backup of the devices and store into central location. Guys, understand or not understand? Completely confused? Not understand? Then it is good. So we'll go to the first one is understand standalone one.
Yes, sir.
So this part is a little bit confused always, right? Which one? This agents, centralized software, right? Think like everything is connected in a network only. Okay, so all are connected in network, so I'm not writing a network part. So this is my backup server. But this is the backup server. And okay. Next, this is a storage, centralized storage. Dedicated centralized storage are a common centralized storage. What is a centralized storages? Names, NAS. What are the centralized storages? NAS and SAN. Okay, network attached storage, storage area network. So it can be a NAS or a SAN. So mostly we use a NAS for a store a backup. Okay, or another one is backup storage is also there. Backup storage device is also separately there. So either we can use that one also. Okay, so we can use tape drives kind of stuff. Backup storage tape drives also we can use it. Forget about it. It's a storage. That's it. I will tell the different type of storage devices. Okay, here it is. Backup server means you have a 2016 server, right? You already worked with a 2016 server. So how it is become a server? By installing a role, right? So DHCP server, DNS server, like that. So this backup server, we install a application in a normal BC, regular BC only, Windows 7, Windows 8, or Windows 10, or server, or anything. I install a application. This application is backup server application. Okay, backup server application. So one of the example is net backup. You can take net backup as an example. Okay, server backup it is coming. No, no, no. We want a backup server. These are all Nova backup, Acronis, yeah, net backup. There's so many names. Tivoli, IBM Tivoli, like that. This also comes under there. No, nothing is there. So why the people are Technopedia, Nothingpedia here? Okay. So Veritas Net Backup. This is the enterprise backup solutions. Veritas Net Backup. It is a one of the application. You want to see how it is works? You can go through the videos also. Veritas Net Backup. Okay. And other so many other type of backups also there. Okay. I'm getting a headache. Okay. So IBM, Tivoli kind of stuff like that. There is so many kind of backup kind of stuff is there. So this is a Commvault. Okay, so this is the application. I net backup. Okay, so once you install a application in this machine, it become backup server. It become backup server. Okay, I'm a server. So who is the client? These are all clients only. These are all clients only. Client 1, client 2, client 3. These are all clients only. Now you want to make a communication to the client. So how do you communicate to the client? You know, yeah. How two pieces can communicate each other? With the help of IP address. With the help of IP address. Very good. With the help of IP address, they can communicate each other. So in a communication between two PCs, like a PC1, then this is a PC2. If PC1 want to send a packet to PC2, what to do? It send with a PC2 as a destination IP address. Okay, and PC1 want to take a packet from PC2. Reverse question. You want to take a packet, not send a packet. If PC2 send, then only will take it, right? Otherwise, you can't take it. If I share my screen, so then you can watch the screen. If I don't share the screen, you can't see my screen, right? Understand, right? You can send. If you send, it receives. If it is send, then only you will receive. You can't take it directly. So, in one more example is there. So we'll see that. If you send a request, if you send a if you send just you send a request to the PC, so PC will take your request and reply back. Okay, do reply or so it will send a response. Okay, sending a request and response. This is a sending one is we call it as a request. Receiving we call it as a response. Actually, it is we should say response. Request and response. PC1 send a request. PC2 send a response like a ping. I send a ping request and I will get ping response. Actually, that is called Pong. Okay, we should say Pong response. Okay, but now don't go with the new words. You send a ping request, receive a Pong request. Sorry, ping response from the other side. So that is the way communication will happens. And very good. That's through IP address will communicate between the pieces. Next, the question is here because it's an agent thing is always a confused lot of people. Even so many times we convey the message, people will confuse with what is this agent again. So new thing is no entire thing will be changed, but base point is always same. Okay, so this is my software. So don't forget this is my software here, application or software, whatever the name you put it. Okay, I want to gather some information. I want to get a data from my C1 to my server, C2 to my server, C3 to my server. But my server can able to send the data but not take the data, right? So that is a different thing. So either you want some information, either you send a request, either you send a request. So then PC will give you a response. So whether it is a server or a client, no difference. Both are computers. Now guys, simple. Try to understand. DHCP server, DHCP client. Tell me, is client is asking IP address or DHCP server giving IP address? Which one is correct? Is a client is asking IP address to DHCP server or DHCP server directly giving IP to client? Client asking. Yes, client will ask. So DORA process, right? Discover, offer, request, acknowledgement. First client only discovers. DHCP offers only, but request is by client only. Then acknowledgement. So this is the pattern, right? Same goes for all communication. So if you don't request, you won't get it. That's the thing. It is simple, right? So request and response is there. So you have to request for a data to backup. So then C1 provides, then you will get it. So this is one way, one thing. So why we put a one more extra process on C1? So why we put a one more extra process on C1? So the C1 PC should understand this application. We don't understand. We don't understand, right? So C1 is a C1 only. It don't understand your application specifically. So for that one, I install a application in this PCs. in my client PCs, I installed an application that is called Agent. That is called Agent. So that is called Agent. I installed an application called Agent, which is belongs to my software or a application, like a net backup or a Tivoli backup or anything. There is a lot of backup tools are there. Okay, so I install the relevant software into their PCs, and I can communicate with the PC through this agent. So through agent, now we can establish a two-way communication. So I send a request, or I send a information to agent only. Agent understand and gather the information from the C1 or gather the data, and so we can take a use a help of agent. We can able to communicate. Very simple. So don't go with so many words. This is my PC, and this is another PC. I have a software here. Okay, I need a continuous communication, so I have to get a information from here. I have to get a information from here to central location, not by sending a request. Not by sending a request. I want to get a information, so this agent will do my work instead of me asking, that is giving. So simply this agent will send a information or a work, or maybe storage in thing to the our central server. That is the main importance of agent. Some softwares are agentless, directly it will work. Some are required agents. Okay, so it is to make a communication between your main server system to other systems. Okay, so how your client is communicating to your server? By using this agent. Agent is nothing but a piece of software. Agent is nothing but a piece of software which is belongs to central server or central application. What I said, agent is a piece of software which is belongs to central server or central application. Agent communicates with a central server. Agent communicates with a central server. Understand the 2 points, guys? Okay. Try to get it. Okay, so why I'm trusting on this thing, even maybe they don't they will ask or not interview, but why I'm more trusting an agent, not on a backup software and all kind of stuff. Why I'm trusting on more agent? Because of it is the actually your in infrastructure. Terminology is very important. Agent work under agent terminology is very important. Why I will tell. Okay, this is, I said, backup related. Okay, next, antivirus related or antivirus related. Antivirus related, you know, in our PCs, in our personal PCs, we have antivirus, right? I am using Malwarebytes. You may use McAfee, maybe Kaspersky, maybe Node 32, or like any antivirus you are using. But in industries, in enterprises, they don't use antivirus for each and every PC. Again, there is a central PC, and there is an antivirus server. Antivirus, antivirus server. Okay, it is a server, and these are all computers in the network. Okay, and antivirus application is there. No, application related agents are installed into each and every PC. So through this agent, this antivirus server application will scan your individual pieces. So you need to buy If you have 100 computers, you don't need to buy 100 antiviruses licenses. Where it take a central server, install an antivirus server software, install a agents into the clients, and scan the all the PCs at a time through network. So this is agent. Okay, one, two example I told. Third example also I will tell why I'm trusting more on agents. Okay, one more example. Guys, you know centralized monitoring system. What is centralized monitoring system means? I have a lot of computer components are there, like a computers are there, storage devices are there, servers are there, switches are there, routers are there, right? Lot of infrastructure components are there, right? I have to monitor all the devices like computers, laptops, servers, storage devices, routers, switches, firewalls, like, so I have to monitor all the devices, all applications. Maybe in my network I have a Oracle SQL server, means DB servers are there, data Oracle database servers are there. So like that, I have a complete infrastructure is there. Now I want to monitor all this infrastructure from single centralized server. Okay, single screen. So in my screen only I can able to view. You want to view the individually, so like you can go to your task manager. So for your personal computer, you can go to Task Manager, go to Process, CPU, Memory, Disk, Network, and GPU. Like that, you can view it, or you can go to Performance. Individually, CPU performance of my PC, memory performance, disk performance, Ethernet performance, Wi-Fi performance. So I can able to view it, right? But you can't go to each and every PC or a server or a router or a switch. So you can't go to each and every PC. You can't see the data, right? 100 computers are there, 200 computers are there, or maybe 300 devices are there. It is very difficult to go to each and every device. So what I'm doing is I install a software in a one PC, and through this software I can view all the machines information in my single screen only. If system is down, I know that system is down. If this system is now up, I know this is up. And try to ping to this PC, so I can ping it from here only. Okay, ping means direct ping option. I want to see what is going on with this PC, so I can call for a remote desktop also. Like, this is a centralized monitoring system. Simply by installing an application like a Zabbix, Nagi OS. Nagi OS is the one of the famous one. So Nagi OS. Nagi OS is an application to monitor your infrastructure. One of the application. Okay. So you can view entire your infrastructure status. We use a protocol for this one is SNMP. Simple Network Management Protocol. Port number 161 and 162. 161, 162. Okay. Okay, so this is also like this. Okay, so centralized monitoring. But why I'm telling this one, but how it will get the details or a status, details or a status of a device. A device can be a PC, server, like that. PC, it can be a PC, it can be a server, or it can be a router, it can be a switch, it can be anything. But how it will get it? By installing their agent in the remote PCs. To install the agent, what is the agent here? Agent is simply a piece of software which is belongs to the central application or a centralized server. So it will get information to centralized server directly. Okay, so that is called a agent. Guys, understood agents or not? Backup is okay, leave it. If you understand this one, you understand three, four things. Agent. No one is speaking. Okay, so this is a simplest thing is backup software. So it will take a backup from the client machines. Centralized backup. No need to go to each and every PC to take a backup of the PC. Simply using a software agents by installing into the client PCs, we take the backup of the data and store the data into a centralized location. So how they will manage? So using centralized backup server. So take the backup, store into the central location. So it is quite easy to restore it. For example, if my C3 is down, if my C3 is down, so what to do? So whenever you remove, you replace with a new hard disk, I can restore the data into this hard disk. I can restore the data into that hard disk. So then I'm ready my PC. So this is the centralized backup server kind of stuff. So usually the famous tool is Veritas Net Backup. Semantic, the company is another name. Here it is Semantic Net Backup, or you can say Veritas Net Backup. Both names are correct. That's it.